Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are ya? If you don't know where that's from, just stop watching this video. No, I'm just kidding. I don't make videos. I am not a makeup artist, but a lot of you like how I do my makeup. So I finally decided I'm gonna make a video. It's probably gonna be really bad, and that's fine because yet again, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have some kind of certification that like I can do other people's makeup, but I self-taught myself by watching makeup videos, and I have certain techniques that I've said to some people and they didn't realize oh, like that's a really good idea. Like that's how you get your eyeliner look like that. That's how you get your eyebrows to look like that. And it's all from watching videos and learning, and a lot of trial and error and practice and practice and practice. I will say that after this video, you're probably gonna need to practice over and over again what I teach you. But that is okay. It takes time, and I know some people want to be able to have it right off the bat, and it's just not that way because everyone's face shape is different. You're going to have to probably take my techniques and mold it into your face shape to work, to be the eyebrow shape that you need to, shape your face and everything like that. So let's go. All right. Oh, there's Luna. So the first thing, I did it off camera, and it's washing your face. Wash your face. Whatever face care you use every morning before you do your makeup, I recommend washing your face because of all your oils that came onto your face overnight. So make sure to wash your face. Then whatever face wash you use, I'm not recommending face washes because that is way out of my realm. But then I put moisturizer on my face. So I have a combination skin tone where my skin gets oily and then it's dry. It's weird. It's like in my nose it gets oily, but then my forehead can get really dry because of the weather change. So I use this. It is cheap. It is cheap. Oil-free because I don't want that because I put it all over my face. Because I get like weird dry patches down here, but like my forehead in the middle gets dry. So, and I went ahead and I already put that on my face. One thing I do as well on top of that is I put on a rose gold water. So it's like a toner mist. And this is for sensitive skin. The one I use called Bliss brand. It basically, let me read it off the thing for you so I'm telling you correctly. It can be before moisturizing mist over the face to refresh and calm skin. I moisturize first. See, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just doing things off what I want. So it can be used underneath your makeup, which is what I'm doing now as a toner, or over your makeup as well for an afternoon pick-me-up. So I can use this later on in the day to make my skin look refreshed, especially if I had like really, really dry skin. Putting that over your face so then it moisturizes your skin again, so then your skin doesn't dry out from all of the foundation and the powders you put on top of it to set it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to put some toner. Oh, it does smell like rose water. That was like my first time using this one. But yeah, so then definitely do not keep your eyes open doing this or your setting spray. It just won't go well. Your eyes will burn. So then what I go ahead and I do is I put primer on my face. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do these things quickly so then I don't have to make it all choppy. If I'm like shaky and nervous, it's because I am. All right, sorry, I want to pause my music because I'm not trying to get muted because of copyright stuff. So we put our primer on. I went ahead and I already showed you what that primer is. Don't worry about trying to pause and see what I use. I'll go ahead and I'll write everything down in the video. You probably see it by now with all of the things I used today. But what I do next is I put pink corrector on. And what pink corrector is, its color corrector is, I have like this lighter one and then this darker one. This one's from Jeffree Star collection, and this one's Pro Concealer. It's nice because it helps me with my under eye, my, dark areas, my bad acne scars. So yeah, and I go ahead and I put it in the areas where I want to cover that up. And so I'll go ahead and I'll fast forward this and we will get going. Let's see. Okay, and after you put your pink corrector on, where you want to hide the purpleness, I went ahead and what we're going to do is put our foundation on. Now, with my foundation, I use the Maybelline one. Obviously, make sure you have it on the right skin tone. I put about one. This is brand new, so this might take a moment. 1, 2, and that was a small cup. Okay, usually with the new one, I have to do like 2.5, but usually it's only 2. That's all I need. And then I take my sponge, just like I did with my pink corrector. I forgot to say that. I use this for all of my liquids that I put on. So this, the concealer, and the pink corrector, I definitely use it for. So at this point, I just put a little bit of the foundation all over my face, and then I use my beauty blender to blend it all in, and making sure I'm obviously using all of it and it doesn't in just one area. So yeah. Okay, and now what I do is after I put my foundation on is I get my concealer, which I got the Revolution Makeup brand concealer, and I will obviously list what I use and the color tone and everything. It's called Conceal and Define. I've never used this, so this is just a new product, so let's see if I like it. All right. So basically, what I started talking about at this point, I just wanted to speed it up, was that I put this in the areas to just brighten those places of my face, especially if you like that kind of look. If not, obviously, you don't have to be that extra, but just what I prefer. Okay, and definitely make sure the areas that I make sure to cover is obviously underneath my under eye. I make sure to get right here, just to kind of get those highlighted areas that I like to, brighten. And of course, if you want to use it as well, I know a lot of people use concealer to cover up their acne. I personally don't, just because of the fact of that I put that pink corrector over before my foundation, so it hides it, so I don't need it. Like, I mean, you can't even see it now. So, like, that's a huge thing that I don't have to focus on with my concealer. But I'll go ahead and what we're going to do now, before I actually mat this all down and bake it, is I do my eyebrows, because you'll see why I do my eyebrows before putting powders down. Yeah, and let's go ahead and I'm going to do my eyebrows. Now, I use the Dip Brow Pomade, I think is how you say it, in Soft Brown with Anastasia. Love Anastasia's eyebrow stuff. And I go ahead and I'll kind of try to do it as closely as I possibly can. But of course, I make sure to like brush out my hairs. And I kind of do an outline of how I want it to shape. And then I fill in. It definitely takes practice. Go ahead and say that several times. It takes practice. And then you'll see how I'm actually able to sharpen and make it look like the shape that I like. All right, let's go ahead and start. Okay, I went ahead and I slowed it down for you guys, because what I'm going to talk about is that I again outlined it, and as I'm trying to do it, I just kind of add to it. And then on the corner sides, I kind of like will do straight up lines to be able to kind of do that feather look, and then brush it out again so it looks a little bit more natural. But I'll show you how I'm actually able to make it look sharp and not look like it is right now, because this is pre to what I do, my little trick that I've taught people. And I'll go ahead and I'll fast forward as I'm trying to finish this up before I start that. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I do my eyebrows before. So this is, okay, so my trick into how I'm able to shape out my eyebrows really, really well is after I fill them all in and I get them, the length and everything that I want, I go in with concealer and I take a brush like this. I have a Morphe one. I have my brush set that I use is actually the Morphe times Jeffree collab of his eyeshadow and his face kits for brushes. So this one that I use to put concealer on, and I will also use as well as I'm doing this, is the JS14 brush, and I'm able to use that to kind of outline around the eyebrows to make it like maybe thinner if I made it too thick. Being able to take away little areas that maybe like I got out of like, the shape of my brow. Okay, now that we have done our eyebrows, the next step that I do is I put powder on my lids and underneath here, and I like put a lot down here to pick up the eyeshadow that falls out as I'm doing my eyelids, so then I can brush it away. And then we'll do the rest, and I'll go ahead and I will fast forward as I'm doing it. Okay, so after I do that, I go ahead and I do put it all the way up to the top just because the color that it is, it's like the same tone as my skin. Obviously, you do not do that if your skin tone is not mine because you will look crazy. But that's what I do. Let's see here. So go ahead and open up the same palette. We're not changing palettes when it comes to eyeshadow, so obviously if you have browns and neutrals, go ahead and use those and go off of what I base it off of. But if you want this palette, I will provide the link to go to it as well because I highly recommend it. I love this palette so much and I can't wait for the other ones to come out. I start from right here and I just kind of go in a circular motion. Oh, I'm using the brush, the Jeffree Morphe brushes again, JS6. So I had to change my area because I needed to charge my computer. But I went ahead and I start from the back corner of my back eye on the outside lid and do circular motions and go inward. Definitely start light and pack on as you go, but definitely circular motions are your go-to when doing the crease of your eyeshadow. So I muted this time to let it go fast forward because I just kept talking, explaining it in really in-depth why. But really the biggest summary is that, you know, I go small and I add as I go, and I kind of do a sharp effect as you're watching, and just circular motions in the corner of the outside of my eyelid to give it the darker area. And then just go into your eye as you can. I was getting upset because the camera quality was awful compared to my mirror, so I started using that. And I do go a little bit up higher, you know, blend it out with a clean brush as well, so it looks really good. Obviously, keep doing that. The circular motion is my favorite thing. Very small, add as you go. Huge tip. Don't go crazy. Pigment comes on eyeshadows very well, so make sure to tap out the fallout before touching your lid. So it's a little pinkish because I need to clean it. Okay, but it is the brush JS11 from that eye brush set. And we're going to go ahead and what I want to do is I'm going to take this shimmer one, and that is the Metallic Aurora, I should say. So it's got more of a metallic look because I like putting that on my lid and then the glitter after I know completely that the eye's done and add the glitter because of how like, you know, crazy it can get with the glitter. Definitely go small with that. Very small when you add it on. But we'll go ahead and we'll start with Metallic Aurora and go ahead and put it on the base of the lid. Cover the whole eye. See how I'm doing that? Promise you guys, I will blend. This is me just putting it on the lid. Okay, so this was just me going back and forth with the brush that I'm using on my main lid and then the brush that I used to put in my crease. Just trying to go back over it, make sure I get that clean crease look to the brown, to the cream that matched up with it. Definitely follow your eyelid shape. This is what looks good on my eyelid. Definitely do some research to see what would be best for yours. I did also start talking about the eyebrow to my eyeshadow, not obviously going all the way up to the top of my eyebrow with my eyeshadow, just because you want to have that space in between. I do take in this video, the speeded version of this, it looks like there's eyeshadow on it. It's clean, it's not been used, and blended in between my eyebrow and my eyeshadow. So it didn't look like a huge harsh line in between those. So it had that faded, pretty blended look. All right. Okay, so you can see I've definitely blended everything out for myself to the, like what I like. Obviously, take your time blending it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of glitter. So we're going to do the glitter Aurora. I really like that lineup. Just like this whole like lighter lineup with that brown matte. You can clearly tell because I have hit pan. Yes. So, but I'm definitely buying this palette again as soon as I'm out because I love it so much. Okay, so I'm adding it to my lid, like my actual lid. Look at that. It is so glittery. I love it so much. Okay. But go ahead and you put it on the base of your lid, you know, however much you want it. You can skip this part too. If you don't want to do glitter and just want that metallic, cool. That's all you have to do. Then you put your lashes on or your mascara, you know, if you, whatever you choose to do with that. And then your eye's done, basically. If you put eyeliner underneath your waterline, then add that as well. But yeah. And this is mostly me just putting the rest of my glitter on my eyelid. And again, obviously going back within my brush that I used to put the crease, just going back in. It's a lot of back and forth, just making sure, you know, that you have it the way you want it to look. I was going for like a crease line look. I like how that looks on my eye. So definitely take it as you want with it. But I was doing a lot of back and forth at this point, just making sure my eyeshadow was good. Okay, so I just did my other eye off camera, and now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I went ahead and I'm going to brush off underneath my eye the powder that I had underneath there to pick up any eyeshadow that fell out as I was doing my eyelids. Sorry. And so this is what the final looks like with the glitter. You can see it. I don't do mascara in like my under my waterline right from the second I'm done with my eyeshadow. What I go ahead and I do is powder down the rest of my face because my skin does like get oily with foundation, so I have to powder it down to know that it's gonna stay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I do that. You know what I did with my under eye is use the Kylie Jenner translucent loose powder. And I'll go ahead and I will just pat down the rest of my face with it. And I will go ahead and fast forward this as I'm doing it. And we'll go ahead and get into the next part. All right. All right, the next part that I do is we're going to go ahead and get into contouring. Blah. So my go-to for my contour, for the contour shadow is from the Tarte Pro Glow palette. You can get this, it's like a 3-piece one. This one's the bigger one that they had out. It has like the creams and stuff. I hate creams. I'm not a person that does cream. If you use it, that's awesome. This is going to be one with matte powder contour and highlighters and blush and all of that. But I use it in the Sculpt color. I know I think it's called Chiseled in the 3 only one that's Pro Glow by Tarte. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we will use, I have it in here. So I use this, I don't have anything as far as like a name brush. This is the one I use to contour with. It kind of looks like that on the top and the sides. But of course, if you have your own contour brush, I'm just going to show you how I go about it. Again, my biggest tip with everything, go lightly and pack on as you go until it gets to the point where you like it at. Okay, so I went ahead and I sped this part up. I'm mostly just talking about how I am using very expired contour makeup. So my pigment of picking up isn't the greatest, but make sure to go ahead and on the back sides closer to your ears, I do a little bit more pigment there with the contour, a little bit darker, and then obviously lighter as you go inward toward the face to give it that hollow look. And I do go by like 2 shapes of 3 on both sides, obviously like a backwards 3 and a a normal 3 where it's like to your head, to your middle of your cheek, and to underneath your jawline. And I'm demonstrating that a lot right there. I really focus the middle part, but I definitely outline my chin area and make sure to brush it downward like I'm doing right now to make sure it doesn't look like a harsh line and looking crazy. But yeah, and making sure obviously to go light with all of this, of course, and go in and more as you get it to the tone and the color that you like. Make sure to blend, blend, blend. Circular motions are your friend. That rhymed, did not mean it to, but let's go ahead and get into the next part. I contour my nose. You can skip past this part if you're like, I am not doing that. But I contour my nose a little bit. So I use the JS8 to contour my, well, actually, no, I don't. I do not use that one. What am I talking about? I like using, so I have a broken brush in here. I actually like using one that I use for my crease anyways, for my eyeshadow, and it's brown. So, like, I always just don't clean it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use it in a brown contour shade, so it's not a big deal. But I use the JS9, and pulling everything, tap into my contour palette, and my contour color, and I just outline my nose. Sorry, I'm going to use my mirror while I'm doing this. Outline my nose, and it is okay if you go a little bit heavier, because this is something that you kind of need to for it to be seen. You know how you guys can all see how crazy that line is, but just wait. I'm not done yet. Alright, and I went ahead and I sped past this part. This is just me outlining the outside of my nose. I do a little bit, like do a circle around the tip of my nose just to kind of let it point out a little bit more. But yeah, I kind of messed up there. But definitely the way to be able to lighten it out is taking some powder, which I believe that I show you here in a second to lighten it down a little bit. Is I take some loose powder and I tap it around the areas that I put contour on to lighten the dramatic lining and color of it. So then like it looks a little bit more natural, even though this is not natural at all. But yeah, and then I go ahead and I get on to my next step, which I believe I speak about blush. Now is I'm going to get out my blush. Mine is super old, but I really, really love this blush. And it is in the color, it's so worn off, but it's from the Becca Jaclyn Hill collaboration. I'm sure it's a blush that's still available in Becca's brand, so I'll go and find it and link it because this is just from the collab that they did. I'm assuming it's like one of her favorites, and I love it because it's like a brown red, which I like it because it's a little bit more natural for me, and I don't like those harsh red blushes on my skin. So I like it because it also blends with my contour, so it looks like a blush, but it doesn't look like a harsh, like, you know, like line with my contour. It like all blends together very well. So I put it on obviously in the cheek, like the apples of my cheeks. You know, just okay, sorry, it cut me off. So good thing I noticed it right away. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna start on this side so you can see what I do. I keep forgetting that. So you can hear her downstairs. Do this with my powder. Looks crazy, right now. But then I let it sit there. And I do it on both sides underneath my contour where I want it to like be where I want it to cut into my cheek to make it look like it's sunken in. So however high you want it, however low you want it. Obviously everyone's face shape is different. Okay, and I went ahead and I did that, and I'm just gonna let that sit. And yeah, and I tend to, okay, with not the loose powder. I have this, I actually got this from my brother-in-law. L'Oreal Contour Pro for Christmas. And I do think this, I don't know what the price is on this, but it's nice. I like it because it has these different highlights. So they have a highlight, but there's like this beige and yellow highlight. And now what that is, it's not a highlight that you put on the side here for shimmer and, you know, glow. It's to put inside here, and like right here in this area to brighten, to kind of like, you know, make it that lighter tone that people do. And I love it. I like that kind of look. So I go ahead and I take the beige highlight and I just tap into it, with this brush, the Real Technique brush. Take it and then I go. So now at this point I sped it up and I put the beige highlight underneath my eyes, anywhere that you really want to brighten the area. So underneath the eyelid, obviously, in your under eye, and around my nose to just like matte down that concealer again, contour I used again on my nose. And I do put a little bit underneath my nose and on my chin to just brighten that area, and a little bit in the middle of my forehead. And yeah. And now, my favorite part is I use this to do my highlight. It's actually one of my friend's old brushes she gave me. But if you, of course, if whatever you have, some people I know use these for their highlights. I know that they even use these. I also have it for my highlight. And this is the JS5. I use both. I'll probably use both right now. I'm talking to you guys. And I also use this. Again, I don't know what brush. I'll have to figure out what this brand is. But it has like this little sharp tip. But that's what I use for my eyes to highlight. And I'll show you that in a second. But I'll go ahead and I'll show you with my big highlighters brushes what I use with those for. The Poise of Colors, and I actually use a little bit from the Tarte palette as well, that Pro Glow I was using my contour for. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I use this for is, and I accidentally broke this, but it is in the color Milk and Honey. So it's a light, like, yellow cream color. I tap into it, and I just tap the excess off, obviously, and just kind of go in a circular motion. I go all the way up here with it, and just do like a V or U, I guess you could call it, around my lid. I mean, you can already see it. You can like see it in this bad quality camera. But go ahead and then do it here. Get it to like the glow that you want. Again, you don't have to go excessive. I am an excessive highlighter. Go as light or as heavy as you want. So I went ahead and I fast forwarded this part. So I take the highlighter brush, I put it on the tip of my nose as well. I use my pinky to put it on the line of my nose to really highlight that area, and just making sure to put, you know, the quantity of highlighter that you want on the sides of your face. I go ahead and I also take quite a minute to bring up the other brush, but that smaller brush, that's the brand I'm not sure of, I put it in the corners of my eyes to make my eyes pop, and I do put them in my eyebrow, I guess your eyebrow bone. I'm not for sure what to call it there. Again, I'm not a makeup artist, but I put it up there to highlight that area. Then I use my brush that I use to blend in between, to just blend it out so it's not a harsh line again when I do it. And of course, going in next with your mascara and eyeliner. Okay, now I just finished with my eyes, and just letting you know what I used. I used the Benefits They're Real mascara, and I used the Tarteist eyeliner. And to do my waterline underneath my eye, I use the stick, not the liner liquid one. But when I do my wings, I do use liquid. So, yep, I went ahead and I finished that. Now, what I go ahead and I do while I just finish that up and I've let that sit for a while underneath my contour is I brush it off, basically. So I went ahead and I sped through this part. I'm going ahead and I'm doing my lipsticks. I love to do matte, liquid to matte lipsticks. I'm using nude colors today and I'll go ahead and I'll list those two that I use. I use two different tones, a darker one and a little bit lighter of the same. And I'll show you in the next one how I use the lighter one, but I went ahead and I used Mannequin by Jeffree Star as my base across my entire lips, and then this next part I will show you how to use the lighter shade to give it the effect that I like getting. Okay, so I went ahead and I did my lips with the darker shade, and I'll go ahead and take the lighter shade, and what I do is I just tap like the inside of my lips a little bit, with the color on the top and bottom, and then go. So I went ahead and I stopped it and muted it again here, and went ahead and fast forward it. I'm just putting that lighter color in it, seeing if where I like it to the shade that I usually do. And then I'm a little unhappy with the line of my lips and how they look. And the best advice I have for that, if you overline on accident, is taking concealer in those areas that you want to thin out back again. And that's what I'm doing in the rest of this sped up video of me working on my lipstick. All right, the final touch. Let's go ahead and take your finishing spray. I love the Urban Decay All-Nighter spray, and go ahead and spray it across your whole entire face. Set everything, and you should be good to go, whether it's a night. Alright guys, that is the finished look. So this is what I do for my everyday look. But it is full glam. There's glitter. There's fun to it. You know, there's the contour. Definitely let me know if you like this. It's going to be kind of choppy. I'm going to have to learn over time how to edit videos and know when to stop, fast forward things. But definitely let me know if you liked this, if it was helpful in any way. I can definitely do one over eyeliner wings on how to make that look. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. All right, have a good week, everybody. Bye.